Here is the promised second video where we will go into a little bit more in depth with respect to assignments and expectations for the course. So the first thing that I want to kind of talk about here is going to be going right from this basic information area. Now, again, because I'm in the student view, if I click on any of these links, Canvas is just going to laugh at me. So I've already got them prepped. The first thing that I want to point out is that there is one extra credit assignment. This is a slight shift, I believe, from when I created my first introductory video, and the monologue performance is now extra credit. Now, there is a specific due date where this extra credit is due. You can't just decide at the very end of the semester, I could use an extra 25 points. So you will want to pay attention to that. And I am going to pull up the calendar to look at that in a little bit more detail in a moment, but I did want to draw your attention to the fact that that is extra credit. Now, we do have descriptions for all of the assignments on the syllabus, and a lot of them are really quick descriptions in some respects, especially when you think about like the focus papers and the major assignment. And these two do have longer assignment sheets that you can look at. And I am going to use only one of them as an example, which is probably the most concerning of the two, which is the directions for the major assignment. So you can see that this major assignment is broken down into 3 stages. Get it? Stages. We are reading Shakespeare after all. So stage 1 is the research portfolio, and you will see that we have directions. And I want to draw your attention to the fact that there are links provided in this assignment sheet to help you with the assignment, tutorials and whatnot. I have tried to provide as many as I could think of. It doesn't mean that what I provide is exhaustive. So you might actually have to do some Googling to find some additional tutorials for you, such as using Canvas's ePortfolio tool. And if you do have any difficulties, obviously, I am definitely a resource, but I would really prefer if you tried to find them first on your own. And then stage 2 is the production review history. And you'll see that we have links to 2 samples in order to help you out there. And then the final part is the written analysis. And as you can see, I have a ton of ePortfolio tutorials here in order to help you out. Now, the other thing that I wanted to take a look at in terms of going back to Canvas, before we take a look at the actual calendar itself, and as you go through the different modules, we have the focus papers, the directions, all of the different submission areas for each of the focus papers. And then we have the question review packets. Now, in terms of the question packets, there are going to be, for the first 3, I have created the question review packets for the first 3 plays. After that, each one of you will be responsible for creating a packet, which means that obviously, or hopefully it's obvious, that you will not be answering your own packet. So even though there are a total of 10 packets, you are only going to actually answer 9 of them. And you do receive, as you can see right here, 50 points for creating a packet, 20 points for answering the questions for the other packets. And when you click on this link right here, it is going to take you to the list of assigned packets, the plays that you're going to have to do individually. This was random number generated, so I didn't, pick any particular order. And then here is where the links to the actual questions are going to be. And as you can see, I still have one more that I'm going to create prior to the beginning of the semester. But as you create your packets, these will have links attached to them for you to go ahead and click on, and then you will download the packet. You will rename this following the proper naming conventions. And I really do want to emphasize this. The rules and penalties regarding such things as following naming conventions, as well as uploading things as the proper file type, those are no joke. So you want to make sure that you read them from the syllabus and that you live them throughout the course of this semester. Paying attention to detail is extremely important in any class that I teach, as well as communication, which means if you don't understand something or if you have questions, you have to ask me. I cannot read your mind. I have taken ESP 101 a gajillion times, it feels like, and every time I fail it. So I cannot read minds when I'm in a physical classroom, And I definitely can't read your mind when we are doing a online classroom. So please make sure that you are paying attention to detail and really looking at the syllabus and all of the different elements that are involved in that respect. The last thing that I wanted to take a look at, and I'm going to go back to modules, and it's going to be the course calendar to kind of talk about how this works. So you can see here on the second tab that we have the grade breakdown. There's also a rubric for that extra credit monologue right here. And with respect to how the calendar works, everything for the entire semester is right there. So if you're a planner, you can totally plan the entire semester. I am very fond of Google Calendar because it's like having a free personal assistant in my pocket, but whatever works for you. So you can see that most things are numbered by play number, and then the name of the play is here. With each play, there is also a chapter from the Bedford Companion to Shakespeare. And you will create, when you do your question packets, you will create questions for the assigned Bedford chapter, as well as for the actual play. And the sample packets will give you an idea of about how many questions you can expect to do for each of those areas. But I want you to notice that with the question packets, you have those generally due on Mondays for the second week of the semester. The question packet is not due till Tuesday because of Labor Day, but thereafter you'll notice that the question packets are due on Mondays. Focus papers are due on Thursdays. Now here is where you need to pay attention to the day in the play that you were assigned. So if you are the first person to create a question packet, your question packet has to be to me by Friday, September 17th. So that gives me an opportunity to make sure that the formatting meshes in case there's any formatting problems, and then I can get that uploaded for your classmates to be able to take care of. And that first question packet created by a student, those questions won't be due until week 6. So I do try to make sure that I am giving plenty of time for that packet to be due before students are actually going to be answering it. Now, some other things I would like to point out is, yes, over the course of the semester, we're reading 10 plays, which is not, inordinately large number of plays. I have taken a Shakespeare class at the undergraduate level where we were reading a play a week with really no breaks at all. So you're talking about, 12 to 13 plays over the course of the semester. But I have tried to break things up so that when we have mandatory conferences during week 5, there isn't a play to read. You get a little bit of a breather because I'm asking you to start thinking about your major project. And then we have more mandatory conferences during week 9. Again, you get a little bit of a mental break because you should be working on that major project. And then over the turkey holiday, where your stage 2 production review and history is due, there again is no play to read so that you can focus on getting stage 2 done well. And then we don't have anything during that last official week because I want you focused on working on that written analysis. And if you do want to have any additional conferences with me, that is something that you will have time to do in terms of balance. So I've tried really hard, even though there is quite a bit of workload here, you're going to be reading 10 plays over the course of the semester, to balance things out so that you do have an opportunity to get your work done and hopefully manage your stress levels. So hopefully this second video was helpful in terms of, getting you oriented within respect to the class, looking at the calendar and the different pieces of information for the course. If you do have any additional questions, as always, I am here to answer them. But I hope that you have, a great rest of your tiny bit of the summer that's left. And I look forward to working with you over the course of the semester.